Alright, so welcome to part two of the session. Hopefully that everybody is freshed out after taking a little bit of a break. And as we left off, we kind of ended up the group kind of split up to doing its things. So we don't gonna want to go first.
Roll initiative
Hmm?
for that? Maybe we should roll something for this.
Roll just a d20 and let's see who is going first. The highest going the first, etc.
1d20.
Mm-hmm. 14, 15, and 13. Okay, Gorgnak is first. Funny enough, that's actually kind of hilarious because it's in the same order of you. It's in the same order of like the actual like your icons there. That's actually kind of hilarious. So first things first, Gorgnak. Um, you're taking your vial, right, into the temple. The two vials. I think you also took the holy water, right?
Yeah. Did I take the body bag as well, or did I take it? Did I have it
I
in the
thought you
more?
left it, but if you specifically wanted to take the body, did you take the body or did you take parts of the body? You can take parts. I don't think you can take up the full body.
I don't want to retcon it too much in this session.
Okay.
So let's just say that I didn't take any, just to avoid any more retcons. What do you
Okay.
think about
So
it?
you took the so-called vials back into the temple of Leosis, which where you serve that. Um, you take it back. As you enter into the temple, you once again greeted by Father Relius. Once again, he just looks at you and saying like, "Ah, brother Gorgnak, you're back. How was your trip?"
Father? It was eventful. Not
I
in the way
heard a
that I
little
like.
bit of rumors going around the town.
Yes, there's something I'd like to talk with you about in private if we can.
He looks around. It looks like the so-called temple is empty, but he's still like, sure. As he like kind of like take you up to one of the rooms. You go to your room specifically, and you enter, and he's like, "Okay, so what do you want to talk about?"
So let's say that I just tell him what we went through. I tell him the story.
Okay, that's fair because you've been telling it a few times already. He's just looks and is like, "Okay, that's very concerning that orcs use divine magic or divine power, so to speak. I think that's the pretty much preferred term for that." Um, Also, you look at the vials as you present him to him, and is like, that's the white madness, I presume, that you talked about.
Yes, the powder is from the remains of the bears. They're white and I identified white madness on them.
Mm-hmm.
When it
And
comes
the
to the
other
water,
one, and the other one is
when
the
it comes,
water.
yes, it's the water that the caster used.
Hmm.
It might be holified. I wasn't able to identify it.
You take out two very very small like small kind of like plates, so to speak. There's like like kind of like small kind of like little plates that like you find in a room that like one of your so-called leftover meals or whatever. He kind of like cleaned it up as the best as he can. You take a little bit of the water, put it on one side, and put a little bit of the powder on the other side. As you said, I will leave the rest to you. I will try to find if I can find anything on my free time. For the time being, I kind of not really tell you exactly what that is. Maybe you should try to meditate on this yourself, brother, to maybe find out something, or try to contact our God to maybe find out if there's something he can tell you. I know it's not the easiest thing
Father,
for you, but if you can try to do that, that might be beneficial.
Father, I would also like to ask you if there's anyone else I could turn to. Because this might be too much for me alone.
Obviously, the best thing to do is probably pray for people of ours, but I will see if there's any kind of a higher cleric around that maybe we can trust and talk with him about this, because we cannot really exactly say this to everyone, I think, from the what you told me.
That's why I wanted to talk in private.
I'll see what I can find for the time being. Probably just enjoy a good rest. You look very tired, and it's already getting late. And he says as the
Yes.
night goes down.
Okay, that would be it for my part.
You're going to sleep? Are you going to sleep?
Yeah,
Okay.
I can pray in the morning.
So, as you're going on to sleep, you pretty much feel that you're going to sleep, but you're not exactly asleep. You kind of open up your eyes, thinking, like, oh, maybe I'll just open up my eyes and just roll over. But you find yourself in the middle of so temple that you don't really recognize. You feel a little bit of wounded and tired from last time, from the road itself, and you look around you. It's a place that you do not recognize at all.
Um, can I see anything that's very distinctive that'll
Uh,
help me remember this place? Since I don't know where I am, but I want to see if there's anything that will let me at least identify the region.
roll a religion. It's quite distinctively the kind of like symbolism and kind of like style of your own temple in Hillford, but a little bit more on high caliber. It looks like it's for your god. You're just not really sure, like how did you ended up here? You're not really understand what you're doing.
I sigh in relief.
As you start wandering around the halls of this so-called temple, it's empty. Nobody in there, but it kind of have like a really interesting feel to it, right? It's kind of like feels like more of like home, so to speak. Like not home in sort of your home, but in kind of like homish feeling that you're feeling welcome here. That you're not like rejected, and you're kind of like a wanted child, so to speak, in his own home. That like kind of a father kind of like welcome you back to your home. As you look around, you kind of looks outside, and you see something like very very strange at one of the windows. It doesn't look like it's affect the temple, but the temple itself kind of like covered up by like a plant of like a black plant with a lot of spikes on it. It doesn't look like it hurt the interior or the temple itself, but it looks like it's kind of covering it from the outside world, as you cannot really see through the horizon, but you see that like this kind of like vine is kind of like protecting the temple in a way, or kind of like preventing anybody in or out, pretty much.
I'll try and identify the vine.
Um, that will be a nature check, I think, this time around. A shame, 20, not 20 on the other side. 16 is also good enough. Something about this vine feels familiar. Like you're not sure exactly, because you every time that like you kind of like enter that state, you kind of forget. But it's kind of like giving you the sensation of the same time every single time that like you kind of like your mind getting clouded, kind of like that feeling. it kind of like feels to you as like that kind of a feeling when you're like trying to touch the vine or like trying to like inspect it. It's kind of giving you that same feeling. It's not like a feeling of like oh, it's dangerous. It's kind of like a feeling, huh? That's kind of the feeling that it gives me.
Oh, well, I'm in a temple. I can pray at least.
You look at Leos's temple, the big one. You look around. Is there anywhere specifically that you're trying to reach to?
Hmm. Let's say that I'll ask Leosis for any advice regarding the matter that we're currently in
Sorry again.
abundance with the white. Okay, so could you please repeat since I got a bit confused?
In what regard?
Okay, what do you want me to do now?
You can do whatever you want in your god's temple, kind of like as long as like you're able to. Like you can just. Is there somewhere specifically you want to go in this temple? Kind of like search around if there
Not,
exists.
not really. Not really. I just go to the altar and start praying for
You
answers
find
and
something very
guidance.
very very unique on the altar as you're going up to it. You find some kind of like a red gem in the middle of it. Um, it doesn't look like it's guarded or anything. It doesn't look like it's kind of sacred. It's just sitting there. And as you're getting close to her, you kind of like feeling like a little bit more of a warm feeling as your entire kind of like wounds kind of start to disappear. Um, and as you pick that up, it's looks like just a regular red gem. It's nothing really like crazy about it, but it's just giving you like it's kind of healing your wounds and kind of like making you feel less tired, pretty much.
I'm taking the gem, obviously.
Roll a perception check. I think that's what will be count for this one. You mumbly hear like kind of like few words here and there. You kind of like hear like it sounds to you like kind of like a white noise of like for some words, but like then you heard like the word gift, kind of like in a soothing word gift, and kind of like child at the end. That's it. That's what you heard at. You kind of didn't really hear anything else. As you like turn around, white light engulf you. White kind of like white goldish light, because that's kind of like the color of your god. As you wake up, once again in your bed, for the following day, um, you look at the table, at your items, and you see the same red gem from that so-called altar kind of like embedded in your symbol.
Oh.
So congratulations, this is
Oh
my way
my.
to pretty much give you your new cleric abilities. You got your new cleric abilities.
Sweet.
Which those are one of them, for anybody who don't know, you don't really need to press them. One of them is an ability to kind of like help him heal the party, which when we'll need to go over it, you can go over it in your free time. It's kind of like an ability that lets you heal the party for like 5 times your cleric level or something like that, but only to half of their HP. It's kind of like a weird ability, but it's very very cool. And the second one is something going to go against undead, which is again when we'll get to that, we'll cover that up. These are the abilities you got specifically for your level.
Okay.
Anything else would you like to do?
I guess I'm up again, right?
Yes.
It's morning. So I'll go with all the morning routines of a cleric at the
Okay.
temple. So breakfast, etc.
And you're going to find yourself back at the tavern pretty soon, or you're going to do
I'll
research?
be in the tavern, but first I need to go do some praying clean up, etc.
So now we're going to spin the clock back to Bobby. Right in the same time as he arrived back into the dancing deck with Mendel by his side, right into the doors of the dancing deck, entering in and finding up Lisa on the counter, kind of like you don't really see her eyes, but she does feel like she's kind of like cleaning things up, kind of like worried about something.
Are you alright?
Oh, you're back. Did you bring him with you? Did you find him? Where did you go?
Yeah, we took him for a bit. He didn't serve much purpose, but he's still alive, so we're returning him to you.
He kind of like look. He doesn't really look at you, but like he kind of like giving you like a little bit of like a peck in your shoulder, in your leg when you're saying like not useful, but it's like he kind of like quacks and just waddles back into Lisa. It's like she looks at him and she just said, "You shouldn't have gone out of your own."
Yeah, I don't really know what Grognak was thinking when taking the duck.
Oh no, I'm talking to the duck. I'm talking to Mendel. I think he said that he went on by his own choice.
Oh, okay.
I can understand animals. Honestly, one of my abilities as I wasn't a child, because apparently that's something that you get if you cannot see. I guess I don't know. Kind of weird. So, you okay? Is there something that interesting happens, so to speak? You returned everybody?
Mostly everyone was safe. The only person we ended up losing was Jonah.
Ooh, Jonas. His wife will not be happy.
Yeah, it's pretty sad.
You sound very tired. Do you really need you want to take your time a little bit? Do you need a place to stay?
Yeah, I thought I'd be out by today, but I think I may need one more night. And in the morning, I'll regroup.
Probably for the best. Honestly, the entire day was kind of long. I think you should probably take your time a little bit for this one. Well, if you want to eat something, I have something still ready. Wanted to prepare more things for the celebration, but apparently there are a lot of things that either going to be thrown because of preparing them or just going to give them for people if they want them because yeah, the celebration probably not going to happen anymore.
Well, I guess I'll eat up something and then head to bed.
Well, you have essentially ability to choose what you want to eat. Honestly, probably like some kind of like a baked, well cooked meat is one of the options with like so-called. It's kind of like a soup of meat. It's kind of hard for me to say exactly the words for it because I don't really know the words for English for your kind of
What
foods.
to?
Hmm? Stew, right? Kind of a stew, but more of like it looks like it's kind of like more like put work into. Like you have a little bit more things than like just a general stew. Like you have meat in it. You have like kind of like potatoes. Like you have like a generous stuff inside of it. Like for us specifically, it looks like normal, but you know for their time, it's very generous for this kind of town and just their time. will be a shame to throw it all to nowhere, I guess.
Well, at least I'll have some.
Yeah, I think it will still be okay for tomorrow or 2 days from now, but hopefully this entire thing will not get thrown away. Well, enjoy. I have a few things to take care of and probably a few people to talk with. Because, you know, after everything that happened, I also should probably go look for my cousin to see how he's doing. Well, good night to you. She says as she's kind of like walk out of the tavern.
All right, night.
After you eat, is there something specifically that you want to do?
No, not really.
Okay, you're going up to bed. You're going to sleep. As you go down to sleep, your night has passed normally. You're just dreaming normal dreams, nothing too unique about it. As you wake up in the morning, your sword, as you look at it, it looks a little bit, once again, a little bit better. It's not look like complete like part of the metal, but it looks like it's getting there. It will take a little bit more time, but it looks like it's getting there. Is there something specifically would you like to do for today? Just because you're planning to leave and everything.
Probably go down, eat some breakfast, and see if Grognak will enter.
Enter what?
You don't need to check. He'll be there in half an hour.
Check to see if he'll be there for Yale.
You're going. Are you going to go down after you dress and everything? You're actually surprised to not find Gorgnak down the stairs. You find somebody else. You find the commander of the so-called garrison herself sitting in the middle of the bar, kind of like drinking something. And she looks like she's half sober, half not sober at the same time. She's looking at you and is like, "Hello."
Hi. Didn't expect to see you.
Yeah, a lot of things to take care of. Honestly, I don't blame people who blaming me for my carelessness and everything, but dear Lord, this night was so hard.
Don't really know why all that stuff started, but as I go on my way, hopefully I can figure out more of why what happened.
Wait, are you saying that you're trying to leave town or something?
Not immediately, but probably today.
She kind of like looks at you, kind of like look at the same time, kind of like thinking. Well, I would not recommend to you to leave until we'll get the message back. Because, probably will be better for you to be around so we can just question you if needed to be and not really just go out your way. But just because you're staying here, I wouldn't say that it wouldn't be worth your while.
Yeah, I still need to figure out what's up with my sword, so hopefully
There's
I can
also
get it
another
repaired
thing,
or
she
something.
said as she slammed her drink on the table. I'm going to teach you something. I'm not going to let a good fighter like you to be slammed like last time. I heard from you guys that you kind of like almost held off really not on the best. So you should probably try to learn something to pretty much better your fighter abilities, she says. You're a warrior in your nature. You do not have that fancy magic. You need to become a little bit better with your sword and weapons.
And with my dice. Wink, wink,
That's
nudge, nudge.
That's meta about the game. Regardless, she looks at you and is like, you use a sword. I also like to use swords. I think I can fix you up with a new kind of, style of fighting in 3 days. I ship people that are a little bit more harder than you. So give me 3 days, even 2, and I'm done with you.
Well, as long as I'm not whiffing as much as I did before, I'd gladly like the training from you.
Good. Then meet me up in about an hour or 2. She says that she's starting to step up from the table and starting to kind of walk around like an alcoholic or drunk a little bit. She kind of working. She's not drunk, but she's a little bit drunk. She's kind of wallowing a little bit. And is like, meet me a little bit after the funeral today, I guess. It's going to be in about 2 hours or so. So take your time a little bit, and I'll see you later. She said that she kind of giving a and just go out. As Gorgnak enter into the tavern, probably.
Oi, Missy! Yes. Can I get some ale?
She said, I forgive you this time. And she's patting her in the back and just going her way.
Can I get the usual?
Lisa is not there, specifically. Not right now. For some reason, she's
Guess
not
I can
there.
serve him up.
Is the duck inside?
Yes.
Ah, my feathered friend. Come over here.
He waddles to you.
I pet him. You're the best duck I ever met.
He kind of whack, kind of doing his voice, whack, and just also kind of it looks like he's enjoying this.
Yeah, now where's little Missy?
He kind of looks around, and he kind of points with his head outside.
Oh, she's out.
Waddling there.
Okay. So I guess you're the duck of the house right now?
I think you mean with you, Bobby. Or you talk to the duck.
I'm still talking to the duck.
He's talking to the duck. Okay, it's the duck kind of look at you and is okay, sure. And he's just starting to waddle off.
Bye. I love that duck. Oh, hi, Bobby.
Hello. You want me to serve you up your Yale?
Yes, please.
You're serving up the ale because you know where that is, and you know that Lisa will probably not be angry on you because you kind of became a part of this place, even though you weren't kind of planning to stay here for a while, but you did. And you kind of enjoying both of you your breakfast as you eat together.
Yes, eat.
So is there
Okay.
anything? Go ahead.
I don't think there's anything that Grognak wants to do right now.
I'm just asking, is there anything you want to talk about?
Eat, drink. Not really.
Well,
Okay.
I guess I'll inquire on Lexley. Grognak, do you know where he is?
Last time I saw him, the professor got him. He's probably getting... Yeah, the professor got him in his clutches. He's probably studying. Again.
Studying.
We should probably check on him. But let's do this after our breakfast.
Yeah,
And while I'm
finish
not
up.
sober.
Alright. We're going to rewind the clock once again, and we're going to go back to the time that Waxley gone into the tower with Professor Applefly. You two find yourself in the tower with the so-called everything that you acquired for samples and everything that you gave the professor, if you gave anything. And you essentially find yourself in his office after a few minutes. So, my boy, how are you feeling after this?
May I be candid? I'm terrified.
Because of your inexperience or because of the creature itself?
Well, inaugural, going just about as I had always planned it to be in my head. I was a little nervous for our friends to get hit by that bear, and they were so severely damaged, but they pulled through, and I was very proud of them. But despite victory, we saw a human living person being transmuted into some kind of metal creature, and that was not something I had prepared for.
Well, it is a little bit ahead of time, but I think it's about time for these kind of things to move you to the next level, I guess. I know it's a little bit sudden, but I think it's better like this, just in case. And just because I think like you might going to need this in the future. You pull down of his desk 8 books. As he present them to you, these are supposed to be, as he said to you, the 8 schools of magic for our so particular school and just generally in the world. You pretty much can cast from anything, but there is always one that you specifically want to specify yourself at, because honestly, there's always something that we specifically are better at. I'm specifically good with this one, as he pointed up into abjuration, as he written on the cover. I'm good with this one. But you can pick whatever one of these that you wish, and you can, for purpose, reveal for us what kind of school of magic you decided to go with.
Wexley kind of just books one by one until he settles on the evocation book, and he just kind of places his hand on this and goes, I think my magic will be best served in removing evils of this world before they can cause.
Interesting choice, he says.
I believe power of evocation will be my path.
Very well then. I will teach you what I can, and I will recommend to you to take the book to yourself and learn to it. I have other copies of this, obviously, and I can transcribe a new one if needed be. But he's just saying to you, is like, I specifically go the other path, protecting my friends before they will get hit, since abjuration, but this is also a very valid and making sense point by you. Very well then, if that is the school that you want to go with, take your book and start studying it in your free time to get your so-called knowledge from it. This will teach you the basic of what you need for the become better with your craft. Evocation spells, as they stand out, are pretty much focused on power, as you pretty much mentioned. You focus on taking down enemies as fast as possible, but also do not hurt your allies at the same time. which is very much an admired goal. And you will learn the specifics of this. Obviously, in your life, when you're getting older, you can learn more, but for the time being, this will be the one that you will be very much attuned to. And that's the one thing I wanted to teach you, but there's another that I think might be beneficial to you.
Go on.
There's a special technique I developed that is very unique in the world of magic. It's a little bit dangerous and not the most complete, but it's give you a little bit more usage out of your normal casting time for a spell. It's giving you the ability to cast another spell almost instantly as the same spell you casted before.
That sounds bordering on the impossible. What kind of formula have you crafted to make that happen?
And he put his finger to his lips and says, "That would be telling. You maybe will learn to that in the future. For the time being, I think that's not really necessary. Honestly, you are going to only learn the basic of it. I feel like that will be the best that is possible. It will take a little bit of time to master, so even after I will teach you, it's probably will be a little bit more harder to master than you think. But for the most part, it's kind of works like this," he explains. "Let's say you cast your lovable Ray of Frost, right?
Hmm.
Every time you cast a spell, you pretty much preserve some particular energy and release it. But what if you haven't released all of the energy and you save some of it to be released again? Because every time that you create a certain magic, not every ounce of the ability, magic, or the power that you gathered been released at the same time. In fact, for my research, only like 50% is released. And I found a way to maybe able to just shoot the same thing twice and release a little bit additional 25%, making the spells a lot more effective."
Fascinating.
Now, obviously, you cannot achieve this every single time that you cast a spell because this is a very, very hard thing to achieve, and honestly takes a lot of energy to do as well. But with a little bit of practice, I'm pretty sure you will be able to do this at least once a day. And you will not be able to cast any spell for the best of its abilities. Therefore, some spells will be a little bit weaker when you cast them again. So if you're trying to cast a spell strongly, that doesn't mean that the copy of it will be as strong as the first one.
Makes sense. Scrambling to make use of leftover magical powers would be would lead to some kind of arcane bleed.
That makes sense, very much so. He kind of like pretty much create rays of frost in his hand to demonstration, just like you do, and then he shot the first ring right into the next mirror, and then immediately, with a blink of an eye, shoot the other. The first one hit with a strong impact. The second one hit with a lower impact, but still hits in the same place, creating a bigger crack on the said mirror in a way that is a little bit more. If it was a human, it will be a little bit more lethal because it's kind of hurt in the same spot twice and kind of create a bigger crack than the first one. This is what you will be able to do.
I to sound impertinent, but the sooner that I can start practicing that, better.
Obviously, you should probably get a night rest before, read a little bit on your new acquired School of Magic and learn a little bit. And after you'll do that, I will teach you as much as I can in the time that we have. Because obviously, either the well, the council will want to see you, or I'm pretty sure you'll want to go to your adventures after this to kind of discover this yourself, I guess.
Yes, I'm curious to see where the breadcrumbs of this mystery will lead us.
Very well. Go to your study, go to your sleep, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Professor.
Good night.
So, if I'm not in the not being in the
let's
game,
just say this right now.
I got magical powers.
Yes.
Billy got new fighting style, and Wexley got homework.
You could say that, but what I'm trying to say here that every one of you are finally getting your full empowered special abilities. You have your own rage ability, which is unique to you, which also giving you an attack immediately, which is absolutely awesome. Obviously, Wexley is going to learn the double spell, and in case of Bobby, he's going to get a new sword, which is improved, which you will see. But stop ruining my fun.
Why to have some too?
As you go to sleep, Wexley, God, you're ruining every single time, making me say the wrong word when you kind of cut me off. As you're going to go to sleep, Wexley, you kind of sleep. Your sleep, however, not really ending to be the best, since you kind of find yourself a little bit of terrified from this particular situation. However, I want you to roll for me something. I want you to roll for me an Arcana check. That's pretty high, and the same one to both sides. Basically, what happened is that in the middle of the sleep, you feeling some kind of like a weird, kind of arcane force, kind of like protecting you from your nightmares. As you look around you, you see the same red color, same bright red that you seen in the picture in the book, talking about the demon goddess kind of going out in the ends of your dream. You do not see any silhouette, but you see the color, and your night's sleep kind of calms down in a way. As you go to sleep, finally, completely, and wake up in the morning with this kind of a memory of that red color as you wake up.
So would it be fair to say that Wexley came to the conclusion that they were being attacked in their dreams by some kind of arcane force, but the demon goddess in some way protected him, or am I misinterpreting that?
From what you can tell, yes, she did. She did. You think that what she did, from what you interpreted, that's kind of like what you got from this. You're not really sure 100% what happens. You're not sure if it was just a bad nightmare for you, and she kind of just comforts you, or it's just like, oh, you're being attacked, and you're just like, no, you're not. You're fine.
Fascinating.
You wake up.
I guess before... Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine. What do you want to say?
Well, then I guess I'll just wake up for the day, prepare my spells, and if I have the time, I think I'm going to go ahead and ritual cast Find Familiar.
Find Familiar. We'll need to do something about that later. We haven't talked about that yet.
Never mind.
No, that's fine. We'll just say that for the time being, it just wasn't 100% complete because you're occupied with your other studies. We'll talk about it. We'll set it up for next time because I don't remember we talked about it. That's what I'm trying to say. Honestly, it's something
sounds
we need
good.
to talk about. We probably just forgot about it with all the level up stuff and all that stuff that happened. You do look at your book in terms of your book. I want you to roll for me a perception check. I want you to, if you see something a little bit unfamiliar in your spell book. Nat 1, you don't see anything. You just scroll through the book and that's fine.
I think that's the first nat 1.
Yeah, that's the
From
first
a
Nat
player.
1. The first actual Nat 1. You scroll to the book and you even scroll a little bit too hard that you kind of like tear a little bit one of the pages. Nothing major, but you tear it a little bit and kind of like, ah.
I love it. This is great.
As you
Yes,
kind of
rank up.
prepare
Give me your fortune.
as you prepare your spells and prepare all of your things for the day, which we will deal with probably next session for the actual preparation. I'm not saying that session is over. There's still one or two things I want to go about, but I want to say like the actual things to this will be prepared for next time because it's really pretty much we're kind of like about the 2 hours, I think. So I think we will do a few particular things and then we'll end off. So, yeah, you're kind of like finding yourself going down, and you're finding Gorgnak and Bobby kind of like in the bottom of the tower, kind of like coming in and knocking on the door.
Wexley! Are you up?
Ognak, Bobby, wonderful to see you. So glad. Question: who else had our fine dreams last night?
Guilty.
Didn't really have any dreams.
To see that it's not a contagious thing. Carry on. How are you all doing today?
I'm not. I got my ale, so the day is going fine. How about you?
I don't see Lisa. Are they all right?
We're at the tower. Are we at the
You're
tavern?
at the tower. She's just not like you at his tower. He's not. You misinterpreted. You're not at the tavern, actually. You're on the tower. They're come visit your tower.
Okay. Apologies.
We came to you. Yeah. We didn't do. I wasn't able to get too much in terms of any other clues, but I'm working on it.
Sounds good. I think whether we like it or not, this whole business that we've stumbled upon is going to drag us along sooner rather than later.
Guess I'll have to start brewing my own ale. Oh, by the way,
what's the plan?
I don't think we have any at this point.
Well, I was going to go out to train in a little bit, but I have a quick spare time before that.
I think I'll go ahead and sell all those things I got from the bears.
That's fair.
Oh, by the way, can I use mending on the chunks of the bears that I got?
You can try.
On the bear skin.
I think I would let you roll just a straight 20. Let's see how good you do. Just a straight 20.
Straight 20, okay. Oh.
You're able to maybe kind of like combine two chunks into one, like in terms of like not like the big chunks. You're able to combine the big chunks. The smaller chunks are a little bit harder for you to manage. And you kind of like combine them, and you kind of like now got like 8 feet of good chunk of like actual long chunk, and or like the good long thing, and then you got like still like 4 feet of chunk. You weren't able to just create big, like you were able to create them more bigger, but not really a straight line good things. Like only 1 feet was able to just actually feel complete, just like the previous one, like the good chunk.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure Wexley is going to stay here for training, unless of course there's something else that I want to say, right?
Wexley, how much homework did you get from the professor?
A bit. Decided to begin my quest in specializing in a particular school, and there is a factor in when it comes to the more egregious specializations.
Okay. That's going to be fun.
Yes, I assure you, it will be rather useful for our future endeavors. I assure you.
Okay, so I'm off to the market.
Well, take care. Yourself a good shopping spree.
I'm leaving.
Okay, we'll take care of your market thing in a few seconds. So for this part, I'm trying to think for a second. For this part, I think we're going to essentially like, not saying skip ahead, so to speak, but like, we're going to talk about the basics of the things, but like, it's just going to be 2 to 3 days that you're just going to train or do stuff for yourselves. Gorgnak is probably just going to drink ale for the time being and not do anything else.
He's not that irresponsible.
You're going to go out your way. We're going to deal with that right now. You're going to find the next closest store that you can sell this. Are you looking for a general store that you can sell this, like a general store, or you're looking for something specific that you can sell this in?
Well, I have bear teeth, bear claw, and bear skin, so I'll be looking for something with animals that I can sell it to. Not a general store.
Roll a perception check to see if you find this out. With advantage because it's your hometown.
It's okay.
Take you a little bit, but you find a store. You find somebody, some like old man, kind of like taking care of like skins of animals. As you see you, kind of like entering in, is like, hello, holy father. What brings you in here?
I come in. Can I just bless his? Just like do a holy symbol, just do something like that. Bless him or bless his day, etc.
Sure. You can make the symbol yourself. What do you do?
Yes. Yes. Bless you. I come in business today. I was able to acquire something that you might be interested in. And I produce the skins and stuff.
From the latest expedition of the unfortunate event.
Yes, most unfortunate.
He looked at it and just like, let's see what I can produce from this. It's like, you have here a good chunk of bear skin with all the fur and everything. There are some small things here, but I think I can make something out of this. I think you can make something for little children, at the very least, that could be hot in the needed winter times that we're going to enter to in a few months.
Yes, should the children have something to keep warm, that would be most pleasurable for Leosis.
He's willing to give you one. Well, I call this 1.5. So 15 silver for each of the good feet of the so-called good chunks. So it should ended up in something like around 120. So it's 12 gold for that. And then for the bad ones, he's willing to give you like a half each because they're really not in the best of condition. So it's kind of like it's going to end up in like 2 gold as well. For the teeth itself, like overall, he's willing to give you for all of this like 15 gold. For the whole thing, unless you want to brag, that's pretty much his offer for this one. Bargain, obviously.
That is a fair price. It's not. It would be not good for me to bargain for something that's going to the children.
Well, obviously, there are a few things that's going for the rest of the folks in the time as well, but yeah, mostly I'm trying to create things here for the needed things.
For the little ones.
Yeah, these ones. He's looking like at the bad chunks of skin. Is like this is definitely going to the children. No prize even, because it's just going to be goodwill. The rest of these, I think I can just make my money back out of this. I don't really mind. And he's like handing you up the gold. He's like, well, good doing business with you. Is there anything else that you're looking for?
No, thank you. It was a pleasure doing business with you. Eosis bless you. Goodbye.
Have a good day, Father. He says that he kind of like taking care of the items. And I think you still have some few items that you might want to sell. I think you do. If I remember correctly, you also picked a battle axe.
No,
yes,
that's on me.
Yeah, I gave it to Bobby. I gave the battle axe to Bobby.
10 arrows now.
So I have 10 arrows on me.
Yeah. I mean, you can save the arrows. You can save the arrows, but I'm not sure if you specifically, all of you, have items that can shoot specifically arrows.
No, the crossbow is using bolts specifically, so this won't be able. I won't be able to shoot it, but I want to get. So I have brewer supplies, which I can use to make my own ale. I have those. I have the tools, but I don't have the supplies to make the ale.
Okay. So you're going to the general
is
store?
very important. If I'm going on a journey and we're going to camp or something, I need my ale.
Very well. So are you going to the general store?
Yes.
How can I help you in this day, sir?
Good morning. I am looking for supplies.
What kind of supplies?
I tell them what kind of supplies I'm looking for.
Basic ones, good ones, or amazing ones? They have different prices, and depending on each, this is pretty much what you're going to get.
Good ones.
How much for how much days? We're talking about? Like, how much time do you think? How much time do you think like you're going to be out there? If you're just looking for like ale stuff.
Four days.
Okay, so she kind of like produced the needed material, the so-called item needed, which I don't really know what they are in real life, so I'm not going to say that. And she put them on the counter, and I think that will be overall. I think I will give you a price of like 1.5 gold if you're going to willing to sell these weird arrows that you're willing to hold. You're holding on to.
Oh, it'll be my pleasure.
Okay.
Would you also have any basic rations for free people when it comes to leaving this place with something to eat as
So
well?
you want the combination meal then? Let's see.
I'm looking out for the party right now. Just getting basic rations.
If you kind of like go through, as like kind of like pick up some of the rations. You pick like 3 to 4 packs. There's like how many days? I'm pretty sure you said like 4 days for your ale, so I'm guessing like also 4 days for your rations.
Yes.
Very well. That will be also another like half a gold. So yeah.
So I'll give you 1 gold and the arrows, and for all of those rations.
Very well. So she kind of like
Thank you.
You give her 2 golds and the arrows, and she give you your things. So basically, you kind of earned 13 golds instead of earning 15, just to kind of like clarify that. And got your materials. Write them down, and we'll use them later. Now, is there anything else that Gorgnak would like to do?
No, that would be it.
Okay, so we're going back to Wexley. Wexley specifically, I'm going to go this very, very basically. You already got like explained what this do, so you spend your next 2 days kind of studying that very, very hardly and kind of mastering this magic. It was very hard, but you think you got it done. But you know that specifically if you're going to use this kind of a magic, it's going to put you like maybe once a day you'll be able to use it. Even then, it's going to be a little bit hard. But you know that you will become better, and you're very, very happy with the results of the time that you got. As for you, Bobby, after these so-called funerals that you all took part of, or at least looked at, you kind of like go with Noella to her garrison, and she kind of like pull up the sword, and she's like, all right, let's do this. So, is there any way specifically that you like to fight, pretty much? Bobby?
Yeah, I think we took too much time on me doing shopping.
Is he still around?
Yeah, he is.
Oh, did my mic cut out or something?
I think you got cut out. I think he heard me, he just got cut out.
We can hear you now.
Okay. So what are you doing? She kind of like asks you, like, what kind of fighting style you have?
I like to have high numbers when I am attacking.
That doesn't make sense in the world's mechanics. Say something that makes sense in the world mechanics, please.
Wink, wink, fourth wall breaks.
Defensive, offensive, what do you want to do when you're fighting?
I would like to go on the offensive, I would say.
Very well then. So she kind of like take her sword out and is like, okay, then attack me. Roll a die, attacking die.
On what weapon?
Your weapon? Your sword, obviously. Roll your sword. You don't need to roll damage, just roll your sword. Nat 20. You're able to kind of like, you're not doing it, like you're not trying to kind of like hurt her, but you're able to like get the sword right beside her neck. I was like, that is impressive, she says as she moving the sword around. You're probably going to be even better than than I thought. Also, the ability of the sword is appearing here because I'm going to talk about it in a second, because you are getting a very, very much nice ability to your sword, but I'm going to talk about this in a second. So for anybody who's seeing that out on screen from those who are watching, we'll talk about it in a second. But honestly, she kind of like looked at you as like, that's pretty good. I don't think I need to teach you that much, but there is something that I want to teach you, specifically that I think might benefit you. So basically, what I'm going to teach you is how to kind of land a swing of your sword a little bit, lighter, but also able to land it very, very, like a second one very, very fast. It's require a lot of energy to do, and it's a very, very, very strong capability for the things that you're trying to do. So it can allow you to just pretty much land 2 hits at the same time. It's not that hard to achieve, it's not that easy to achieve, and honestly it takes a lot of energy. And for the sake of purpose, what she's trying to teach you is Action Surge, which is your new fighter ability that you're going to learn. So in the next 2 days, that's what she's going to do. She's going to teach you how to use Action Surge. You're taking your time specifically in this particular like very, very, very hard intense training of like boosting up your muscles while also kind of like boosting up your speed at the same time and reflexes. And at the end of this time, you're able to acquire the ability called Action Surge. At the end of this time, or at least in the middle of it, your sword kind of like able to kind of like, it stopped changing. The color of the so-called goldish part of the kind of things that kind of combine with the sword kind of like becomes part of it, and it's kind of like whirls around like a zigzag maneuver kind of a thing around your sword. There's kind of like parts that are like not including the blade obviously, but zigzag around the sword. If obviously can hear me, if you hear me, said to me that you can, because I kind of like feeling I'm talking to myself.
Oh, I hear you, yeah.
Okay, so what this sword kind of does. So let's explain what it does. After you obviously, let's say you already took it to the so-called, to Professor Applefly. Basically, what this sword does is a sword of power, so to speak. Sword of resting power. That's the name I gave it. What it does, it has the ability to hold up charges of power if you missed or you rolled low enough on the damage on the die. Pretty much, and it's able to store up to 6 charges, and you can use them either to kind of like tell me in advance. You cannot use them when you just use them. You have to tell me in advance when you use them, any charges that you want, and you kind of like able to use up to 6 of them, and tell me either you use it for damage or you use it for the attack itself. So you, like for example, let's say you're not sure you're going to hit, and you have like 6 charges, and like you pretty much sure like, oh no, I'm not be able to hit with my sword. So it's basically just giving you the guarantee that like maybe you will be able to hit better, or when you're trying to deal damage, maybe you will be able to deal the damage better. You know what I mean? Just kind of like giving you that. But all of the charges, okay, are released at the end of combat. Charges are not staying at the end of combat. So like, unless they're 2 or lower, they're not staying on your sword. So for example, if your charges are like 3, all of them disappear. If they're 2, they stay. And the way for you to get charges, like I said, is either hitting a target or missing a target. Like even hitting a target, even missing one is missing a target. Sorry, and or except getting a nat 1. Nat 1 will not give you a so-called charge. 2 is hitting a damage on the die with 2 or lower, also give you 1 charge. And every long rest, you're also getting 1 additional charge. So charge can build up, but at the end of combat, they will go down to 0 if they're above 2. So if you're, for example, you don't fight for 6 days, you're still going to have the 6 charges. It's just meaning that at the end of that combat, you're going to lose them. I'm hoping that makes sense. I'm hoping it's not that complex. But the point is just making your sword better in terms of hitting and in terms of just dealing damage. So that's pretty much what it does. It's a little bit like high words for it, but I think like once you'll see combat, you're kind of going to understand how that works. If that's a little bit more of a complex explanation, let me know so I can explain it a little bit better.
I think I can understand. One thing I got out of it is that if I miss a lot, it's going to add to the thing, so I can actually use it to hit better.
Pretty much, yes. Either hit better or able to either hit better in terms of hitting the target or hitting with the same damage. It's either or, and you can even just split the charges. Like you can have a +3 when you're trying to hit, and then a +3 when you're trying to damage. Obviously with the number of charges that you got. So it's not I got 6 charges all the time. No, it's it builds up, which is really good. And every level you level up, you're probably going to get another charge, but we'll see how we'll balance this as we'll go along. But yeah, this is pretty much your weapon. And you 3 essentially end up your days of training and organizing as you kind of meet up in the tavern again. You find out Lissa again. She kind of came back. She kind of was gone for a half a day, and she kind of every day kind of disappeared for some few time, but she kind of came around. At the end of these 3 days, Noella come back to the tavern where you 3 you like to meet, and she's telling you, well, you've been summoned. You need to go to one of the 5 one of the Council of Fives have been summoned you. You have 3 options to go into, pretty much. We're going to go into it a little bit more differently in the next session, but the point is, you've been summoned. So, yeah, this is going to be one of your next destinations, to go to meet one of the Council of 5. That's, I think, where we're going to finish this episode, I think. That's a pretty good place to just finish this. I don't really think there's anything else needed to say. You have your destination for next time. You kind of learned a little bit of few things, and you're going to be better than ever for next time adventure, I think. Is there anything else you want to add?
No, not really.
I'm interested to see where this whole plot line is going. This is a crazy mystery.
Yes, it is. It's very much is. It's something that I built up for a very long time, for something that I've already been writing a little bit. So it's kind of connecting to a little bit of a world that I created, or a universe I created. So that could be very, very interesting. But for the most part, we finished the session. I didn't want to talk about the so-called next choices for next time because I feel like it will be a little bit more rushed. So we're going to leave you the decision of which lord to go to next time. I think that could be very, very interesting. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope everybody that watched or listened have enjoyed. We'll pick up for us for 2 weeks from now. For you, you're going to see the other part of part 3 already on for you next week from now on. But yeah, see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you.